All right, welcome to this brand new challenge. And this one is going to be challenging, despite it might not look all that complex, but it's going to cover a couple things that we haven't even covered yet. So if you're not able to pull this off, don't worry about it. I will be showing you the solution, obviously, in the very next module. But here in Figma, this kind of just shows you what the general layout is. Because the animations are more complex, they're outside of the scope of the animation and prototyping abilities of Figma. So I'm going to show you the live version of what I want you to try to tackle for this particular challenge. So this is what it looks like by default. It's just a few links, essentially, in an unordered list. However, watch this. We're going to hover over. So there's some very interesting things occurring here. And trust me, it looks way more buttery smooth. I'm looking at my reference monitor where it's showing the recording, and it's just not as smooth. But if you try this out, oh, it's so nice and smooth. So there's a few strange, interesting things happening here. When we hover over the text right here, we could see there's like two different titles. One is kind of like going up, and the other one's coming in on hover. So this initial one gets up out of view. I'll hover over the top link in a second. And then we have one underneath it that comes up into view. It's just kind of like an interesting sort of effect. We also have this little line over here that's kind of growing. It's a scale x0 to 1. And this right here, these titles are wrapped in a parent container, a div element, and that div element has overflow hidden. And then what we do is we use transform, translate x to move them, or not x, I'm sorry, y on the up axis, the vertical axis, to move them up. And so one hides and the other one reveals, and then when we mouse leave, it'll reverse the timeline animation. So I'm trying to give you some clues and some hints as to how to structure this. One thing that also might be a little bit challenging is the way you want to tackle this is you first want to set up a property, a constant that attaches itself to select all of the links, all 4 of these links. So all of the LIAs, essentially. I'm putting mine inside of a list item with the A element. And then you want to, for each, you want to iterate or loop over each one of those and create a timeline for each one that it iterates over. So if you don't get this, we haven't covered it yet, so don't get discouraged. I'm going to show you exactly how to do this sort of thing. And this pattern, this technique of doing a for each and then creating a timeline for each element lends itself to so many different use cases, as you will see as we progress throughout this course. So you don't have to worry about making it responsive. This is just for a desktop sort of interaction. So go ahead, give this a shot, get as far as you can. Then once you get really stumped, just watch the solution video thereafter.